Okay, let's just forget the sci-fi movies for a second, because AI, it's not some far-off future thing. It's already in our classrooms, and it's making this huge, bold promise that it's going to completely change how we learn, how our kids learn. But the real question is, can it actually deliver?
You know, for as long as I can remember, the holy grail of education has been this one simple idea. What if every single student could have their own personal guide, someone or something to meet them exactly where they are? It's always felt like this impossible dream, right? Well, maybe not anymore. But seriously, can an algorithm, just a piece of tech, really fix one of the most fundamentally human challenges we have? That's the huge question we're going to dig into.
All right, so to really get what AI is promising, we've got to first look at the problem it claims it can solve. And it's a problem that's been baked into classrooms for, well, forever. It's the whole one-size-fits-all thing.
Think about it. It's basically been an assembly line. You've got one teacher, one lesson, and one speed for a whole room of different kids. So what happens? Well, some students get left in the dust, just trying to keep up, and others, they're bored out of their minds, waiting for everyone else. The system itself kind of creates these gaps.
So how do you even begin to break that model? AI's answer is pretty radical, actually. The idea is to give every single student their own personal tutor.
And look, this isn't just some theory. The early results are pretty wild. There was this one primary school in Finland that tested out a personalized learning program. Get this, in just 1 year, academic performance jumped by 30%. I mean, in the world of education, a jump like that it's almost unheard of. It's huge.
So how on earth does it work? Well, imagine a system that's paying attention to every little thing a student does. It sees a student is struggling with, say, fractions, and boom, it instantly offers extra help. Then it notices they're just flying through algebra, so it nudges them with a tougher problem. It's constantly changing the speed, tailoring the material, giving feedback right away. Basically, it's doing everything a fantastic human tutor would do, but for everyone, all at once.
Okay, but this incredible promise, it definitely has a dark side. Because like any big revolution, this one comes with some pretty serious hidden risks, some major unintended consequences.
This quote right here from a student really just says it all. I mean, think about it. When the answer is always just a click away, when that productive struggle becomes optional, what does that do to our ability to, actually think for ourselves?
And that's a very real fear, that these tools just make us intellectually lazy, that they short-circuit that whole process of figuring things out. But honestly, the risks go way deeper than that. See, for an AI to do all this personalization, it needs data. And I mean a ton of data. We're talking everything from test scores to how long a student pauses before answering a question. And that opens up a whole minefield of issues: privacy, student profiling, and one of the absolute biggest headaches in AI right now.
Here's the thing about AI. It only learns from the data you feed it. So if the data is biased, guess what? The AI becomes biased too. Just imagine an AI that's mostly trained on data from students in really wealthy school districts. It might start to think that success only looks one way. And then it could end up giving completely wrong or less helpful learning paths to students from different backgrounds. So instead of closing those learning gaps, you're actually making them permanent. You're literally cementing them in code.
And this whole risk of bias, it leads us straight into another massive challenge: the digital divide. And what we're finding out is that this isn't just about who has a laptop and who doesn't. It's way more complicated than that.
So experts are now talking about a two-tier divide. The first part is the one we're all familiar with, right? The gap in just having a computer and an internet connection. But the second part, that's the one that's much deeper and a lot harder to solve. It's the gap in having the skills, the confidence, and the support network you need to actually use the technology effectively.
I mean, for a lot of families, the hurdles are just immense. It's not just buying a laptop. It's the software, the internet bill, what happens when it breaks, and then there's just the fear of using technology you don't really get. All while the school and society are pressuring you to be connected, which just creates this constant feeling of being left behind.
Okay, so we've got this incredible potential on one hand and these really deep, serious risks on the other. So what do we do? Where do we go? Well, the answer isn't about picking one or the other. It's about finding a much smarter way to work together, a synergy.
Let's be clear. The goal here was never about replacing teachers with code. It's about creating a partnership, one where the tech makes our amazing teachers even better without taking over. So, what does that actually look like in a real classroom?
Well, there are really two ways this whole thing could play out.
The first path is what you might call adaptive personalization. That's where the algorithm is totally in charge, just pushing content at a student who passively receives it. But there's a much, much better way. It's called collaborative personalization. And in this version, the student is an active partner. They're helping to create their own learning journey, using the AI as a tool to have a richer conversation with their teachers.
Now, to pull this off, to get it right, there are a few things that are just totally non-negotiable. First, you absolutely need human oversight, real experts checking the AI's work. You have to give students agency, so they're part of the process, not just data points. Ethics and fairness have to be built in from day one, not just patched on later. And most importantly, you need that true partnership between the expertise of a human teacher and the power of AI.
When you boil it all down, AI isn't some magic solution for education. It's a tool, a ridiculously powerful tool for sure. But just like any tool, whether it builds something amazing or breaks something important, that's up to us. It comes down to the choices we make, the values we prioritize, and the wisdom we use when we put it to work.
And that leaves all of us with one final, crucial question to think about. As this technology floods into our schools, are we going to use it to truly empower our students, or are we just going to automate them? The choice, really, is ours to make.